thank you for
How's
taking
your
the
trip?
time with me here. I thought it was really important to kind of get your feedback and share a few things, and just for maybe someone to understand the process of everything that we went through. And yeah, if you could tell me pretty quick, I guess I don't want to take up too much of your time, but
That's fine.
how did you come to connect with me initially on this process?
Well, I had the unfortunate experience that, my mom passed, and then I had to hire an attorney, and then I just didn't know what I was doing, and I just kind of really stressed to my attorney. I just needed someone that I can trust that can really help me through this process because I did not know what I was doing. So she referred me to you, and it was the best thing that's ever happened.
Oh, thank you. Well, I mean, that's
Yes.
always nice to hear for sure, because our goal is always, or my goal is always, the happy client at the end through the process, um, and just kind of, I know it's always a stressful situation going through that. Um, what was the situation with the property when we initially launched this process?
Well, initially when I thought I took over it was me and my brother. And so I thought it was going to be, pretty smooth sailing, right? Didn't have any issues. At least I thought I had with my brother, but it turned out that was not the case. And, I thought the house was empty. Come to find out that there's someone squatting or whatever it's called, living in the house. And so the house was not in horrible condition, but when that squatter person left, it was in terrible condition, from my opinion. And I think that with all that in place, you really helped me through that whole process. I mean, seriously, Eric, if you were not there, I don't know what I would have done.
Oh, thank
Because
you.
I mean, I mean, no, really though, because I'm like about to cry right now because you held my hand through the whole time. And I don't think I could have done it without you. I really don't. And so
Thank
I'm
you.
just really eternally grateful. You took a lot of stress off of me during that time. I mean, I don't know. I'm just very grateful.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, you're a great client, so I mean, I was just happy to be there for you. And I know, we went through quite a few hurdles during this process as well, because people don't really understand, the depth that is involved, and they think they can, they just want to call or hire any realtor that doesn't have the experience in going through these challenges. And I think that's the biggest thing is, I'm sure you had concerns, right? And going through the
I
starting,
did.
and what were
I
some of
did.
your fears?
I mean, my concerns were, like, I mean, you were referred, but I'm like, is this person going to be honest? Are they going to send me down a rabbit hole? Is it going to just steer me in the wrong direction? Not really be very not want to have communication, slow to respond because I'm out of state, right? So all these things were just going through my mind. And I mean, all these negative things that went through my mind is nothing. I didn't experiencing any of those things with you. You were very responsive. You explained everything. You wouldn't allow me to sign anything until I read through it. You always reiterated, make sure you read every line. And if you need something, if I had a question, we could get on a call. You walked me through it. Um, I mean, it was a terrible situation, but you made it doable. I
Thank
mean,
you.
it really was.
And
I
definitely,
mean,
we had the eviction process that took a little bit of time, unfortunately, and that was yeah, that was a tough one because we had some hurdles with the courts heading in and actually showing up with the sheriffs. Where I took that on, and that's part of what I do. Um, but
yeah.
obviously, I'm sure you were grateful. Once we got them out, that was the important thing, I think, right? So the
Yeah, it was. I mean, I didn't like that process even. I didn't even know I wouldn't even know where to have begun to get somebody evicted or get them moved from my house. And I mean, you took that, you helped me file the paperwork, you showed up um with the sheriffs. I mean, you went through that whole process. And so, if anybody goes through this process, they really, really have to hire someone that understands it because I think that I didn't know what to expect. You didn't know what to expect, but if you have someone that doesn't know what they're doing and things happen along the way, it could just really be a nightmare. I could just have seen it being a nightmare if you were not as experienced as you were and really knowledgeable about the whole process, it could have been a nightmare. It was already a nightmare. It could have just been a holy, I don't know what else is worse than a nightmare, but it could have been worse.
Oh, yeah, we definitely made it to the end for sure. I mean, again, people don't realize the length of time that this could take, so it's always good to, it's not a sprint, it's more like a marathon,
It sure is.
And and then we got into the property and we did our review, our initial video reviews, and kind of how did you feel the process went with, kind of we reviewed everything and then we've got our estimates and how all that went. Did you feel
I I
that
think
went
that
well?
whole process again was smooth. I mean, because it was smooth. Mainly because you knew what you were doing. You were able to have individuals, I assumed, I didn't even ask, but that you've worked for before that you had confidence in that could get the work done and not break the budget, right? But yet not do shoddy work either because the house turned out really nice with the work and the monies we put in it. And and my husband, he's in that field of remodeling, rebuilding houses and things of that nature. And so when you sent over the quotes and things of that nature, he looked over the items. He's like, this is very fair.
Oh, good. Yeah,
So he
that's really
did. He
important.
looked at it and he said, no, this is fair. This is very reasonable. This is fair. So that's when, when things popped up or things happened, that's one of the reasons I didn't have a lot of questions. Or even second thoughts when you said this was the price and you looked at it a couple times, a couple of different ways. I trusted that just because of that initial estimate that we got was so honest that I didn't feel like was being bamboozled, it was just honest and transparent. And that's what anybody in my situation would want, someone that's honest, that has integrity and transparent. And that's what you gave, you and your team.
Yeah, I think it's important. I always tell my clients, so sometimes they think, well, are you making anything on the contractors? No, I don't charge, 10 or 20% on any of the invoices. It's just a straight, whatever they charge you is what, I pay and am reimbursed. So there's no additional fee. It's just part of the service that I provide. So a lot of people, they're never really sure because they don't know how it works really. But
Mhm.
yeah, I'm glad that went. And then we had a couple hiccups with the pigeon colony that we found in the
Oh, I
roof.
know. That was just craziness. I don't know. But
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
you held my hand through that whole process.
You
You
never
doing
really
any
know what you're going to
pigeons that
uncover.
decided to move in?
What's that?
That was crazy. I said, I wouldn't have known what to do with pigeons that decided to make a home. So, you helped me through that process. You took care of it. You had your team there. The videos you provided, I felt like I was there. I was a part of the whole process, even though I was out of state. I felt like I was kept really informed of what was being done, what needed to be done, and the pictures really helped put a face to all the work that you sent, the videos.
Thank you. Yeah, it's I think that's really important because yeah, you don't have that. You're not there. You can't see it. So how can we definitely update you along the way? And then we got a couple offers, and
Yeah.
we were finally in escrow, and then obviously we went through with a buyer, with the highest price for sure, but definitely managing those hurdles with them changing lenders on us, and that was a whole challenge because I think a lot of people in your situation they don't understand it's not just us on this side, it's also the buyers and the buyer's agent on this other side that we deal with. So how was that process? I mean, I know it was a little bit of a challenge because it took us a little bit of extra time to get through escrow based on these buyers. But
Right. I mean, initially I was excited, especially when we got the first buyer. Then I was bummed when they fell out, and then we got another one. But again, your expertise helped guide me through that. You gave good advice. You weren't pushy. You didn't say this is what you wanted to do. You were more like, okay, so these are not our option, but these are your options. And you gave me your viewpoint from your experience of what you would choose to do and gave me the opportunity to think about the decision. And again, because everything you've done with me over this, I don't know, over a year, um, has been so transparent. I just didn't have any second thoughts about which direction I would want to go because you were just transparent. So the advice you gave was good advice, I think, all the way around. And you kept the what I don't know what they're called, the amendments coming as needed to kind of keep us in the driver's seat. You kind of and you did all that. So I
Yeah,
again grateful.
yeah, I think it's important just to know kind of how we can keep control of the deal moving forward because, you know, we definitely want to keep that control and not give it over to the buyers as much as possible. But yeah, it just, sometimes you just have buyers that they have issues on their end with their lender, and sometimes you just we gotta make sure it puts us in the best spot possible to
Mhm.
either go with a different buyer with a different offer, or stay within the agreement, just to reach the finish line, right? Because that's really the ultimate goal is weighing those options. Do we stay in contract? Do we go with our other offers? Things like that. So, yeah, there's so much involved that you cannot account for. One could not account for that. It's not like a menu. It's like we've got to say, okay, this happened. Now here's our options, and this is going to happen this way.
Mhm.
This is our option. Um, but how
Yeah.
did you feel as far as the final sales price? I know we did get an over asking offer, which is great. How
Well,
did you feel
that's
about
I
that?
was just thinking about that when you were talking because when we first started this journey together, you were like, okay, so you did your market analysis, you looked through what was available, what homes were selling for, and you said, if we put a little money into it, I'm sure we could get X amount for the home. And sure enough, we put, the money into it, maybe a little bit more, but we got more for the home as well in the end than what was expected. So that process went great. So
Yeah.
I don't have any complaints about that. I mean, that was transparent as well, and it was executed very well.
Looking back over the whole process, what do you think impressed you the most about, me being able to help you through that?
Through this whole process, I think for me it was your approachability. You were approachable. I was able to access you without worrying if you were going to call me back. You had all the answers, in my opinion. You had all the answers that, because I didn't know what I was doing. So I think that your knowledge base, you were accessible, you had integrity and compassion. I think those are all key things to have, especially when dealing with, in my situation, mom passed, brother acting crazy, pigeons moving in, so that meant a lot to me to work with someone um, in the field and have those qualities.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. That makes me feel good at the end of our journey that we finally were able to do that, and hopefully stay in touch as well. If you ever need anything, definitely reach out to
Oh,
myself or
absolutely. If I got something to buy or sell in California, I'm calling Erik.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Well,
Yeah,
again, thank you
absolutely.
for taking the time. It really means a lot to me, and anybody who sees this video is I'm sure going to feel a little bit better about if they choose to work with me or not. But if they choose to work with me, at least it's important for them to understand the job that I'm going to do for them as well. So it's always nice to
Yeah.
be
And
able to
feel
share.
free if anyone wants a personal reference or wants to call me directly to see about your services, because, this is an honest, true, I don't know what this is called, but my experience with you.
Well,
I could
thank you.
not have
Thank
done
you
it.
again.
This,
Yeah, it's been great. It's I'm just happy we got what we needed. We got where we needed to go, and we originally thought this was the price for the market, and there was a lot of properties available, but we were able to get a little bit more, which is always important as well. And um, so
yeah,
definitely
but that
thank you
goes to,
for trusting me.
yeah, but but that's with your knowledge base market, your knowledge base of the whole process of what needed to be done to the home and with your team. And so I think it all worked together to get the best price for the house and for the whole situation. I would say, I mean, if anyone's going through probate or going through having to sell their home, period, I mean, you're the guy, your team.
Well, thank you again. I don't want to keep you much longer. And I don't,
Okay.
but I really thank you for taking the time to share that with me and anybody else who may see this. So,
Oh,
again, if you ever
absolutely.
need anything, definitely call
I
me
will.
anytime for sure.
All right. Thank you. Have a good time. Bye bye.
You too. Thanks. Okay. Bye bye.
Uh-huh.